All right, I think we're live, y'all. What's up, everybody? Thank you all for joining today for Tuesday Feels with Ricardo Sturdivant. Tattooers and fine artists, this show is a great place for you to talk to friendly faces and experienced artists about the ins and outs of the tattoo world. We are beaming out to several different places, so if you're watching, just tag a friend in the chat or share where you're beaming in from. Of course, positive reviews and comments are always welcome. All of these Reinventing Network shows, art jams, drawing groups, interviews, panels, and webinars can be watched anytime at reinventingthetattoo.com, reinventing247.com, or our new Roku channel. The Roku channel is pretty awesome. To find it, go to your Roku, search Reinventing the Tattoo, and then you'll have the app installed directly there with 24/7 streaming content. Besides the Tuesday Feels, we have several weekly shows and drawing groups that you're more than welcome to tune into or even hop on the call with us. It's really fun, very easy to do. You can set reminders for our upcoming events on our YouTube channel or catch us live. Every Sunday at 1 p.m., the Reinventing Drawing Group for Sunday Skill Set with Jason Leeser. You guys can bring something you're working on, anything that you'd like advice on. Jason's great about providing a judgment-free atmosphere for artists. Also, Monday mornings at 9 a.m., thank you to Josh for starting the Reinventing Drawing Group back up. It's a lot of great stuff, but it's happening bright and early at 9 a.m. Eastern. Monday mornings at 11 a.m. Eastern is the Tattoo Weekly with myself, Gabe Ripley, and Jake Meeks of the Fireside Tattoo Network. Monday evenings is the Evolution classes. The second trimester is starting soon, so head over to reinventingthetattoo.com for more information about that program. It's led by Guy Atchison, so this setup is totally different and really cool. I'm anxious to hear the feedback from everybody for the first trimester as well. For that, you can head over to classrooms.reinventingthetattoo.com. Otherwise, Tuesdays at 10 a.m. is right here, the Ricardo Sturdivant's Tuesday Feels. Wednesdays at noon is a Tattoo Now show, followed by the Reinventing Business course every other Wednesday at 1. Thursdays at 6 p.m. is a Tattoo Collecting podcast. Aside from these digital events, there's a lot more cool stuff coming up real world style, like Hell City coming up in 2 weeks. Otherwise, we've got the Rubber City Tattoo Invitational at the end of July and Hell City again at the end of August. So we're really looking forward to seeing you guys in person. Before we kick off the show, the last thing I'll do is shout out to our awesome sponsors for providing this content to you guys. We've got World Tattoo Events. If you're looking for the largest, most comprehensive resource for tattoo events in the world, head over to worldtattooevents.com. Also, thanks to Raw Pigments, providing really dope pigments that are acrylic-free and impressing artists across the globe. Watch out for their EU line dropping soon. Thank you to Tattoo Now, technology for tattooers. And of course, like I said before, the founder and inspiration of Reinventing the Tattoo, Guy Atchison. He's got his biomech encyclopedias, machines, DVDs, paintings, and more at guyatchison.com. Also, thank you to our affiliates, Fireside Tattoo Network, The Apprenticeship Diaries, and eco-friendly tattoo-supplies.com. If you'd like to host a Reinventing event like this, or any questions about our community, send an email at to management@reinventingthetattoo.com. Now, my turn to get out of here and bring in our host, Ricardo. How's it going today, Ricardo?
It's going pretty good. How about you, Lauren?
Excellent. I'm happy to see both you and Josh in the house today. It's always great on a Tuesday morning to catch up and work on some cool stuff.
I gotta talk about some life things and some art things, right?
Absolutely. So before we get started, Ricardo, can you do a little soft introduction of yourself as well as Josh?
Yeah, for sure. My name is Ricardo Sturdivant. I work in Bloomington, Illinois at a tattoo shop called Artcore Tattoo. I just recently closed my private studio. I've been working privately since 2013, and I think it was time to migrate back into the community. I started migrating back into the community last year with Reinventing the Tattoo. Actually, of all times, on Valentine's Day last year. It's pretty incredible. So it's all love, you know what I mean? But yeah, thanks for tuning in today. We talk about all kinds of things here. We go over some topics. We discuss some personal issues from time to time, things that might inhibit us or things that we can focus on as far as progressing as artists and as people and as an overall community. Yeah, I guess that's it. Thanks. Josh,
Yeah.
How about you?
Josh.
What's up? I'm Josh Johnson. I'm a partner at Affinity Art Co. in Moorhead, Kentucky. yeah, I'm fascinated by all things art and tattoo. So that's me in a nutshell.
Awesome.
Oh,
So Ricardo, it looks like you're already started on some painting, I guess it will be, or is that charcoal? Not sure, but yeah.
yeah, I'm working on this acrylic painting today. I figured that I'd just kind of go for it. It's a drawing that I've worked on some years back in pen and ink. And I'm going to use this as the reference today. Mine, the harsh marks on the cheeks and around the eyes and stuff like that, that kind of take away some of the softness of it. But I was trying to draw it on this morning in a hurry, so I just kind of like went through and made some real basic shapes, some geometric kind of planes and stuff like that, so I could relate to the transfer of the drawing pretty fast. I didn't want to take up too much time drawing it on. I wanted to just dive right in. I think I'm gonna try to focus on like a color blend today, instead of it being like that black and gray version. I think I'm gonna try to play around some warmer tones and blending in some cool tones throughout the face and see if we can't maintain the shape. You know, they say that as long as the structure is there, as long as the values are in the right place, you can pretty much color an image almost any tone you want to, and it'll be relatable. You know, so that's kind of what we're going to be working on today. And am I understanding this right, Josh? Are you the one that's firing back up the Monday mornings?
Oh, no, I don't think so.
Oh, okay, that's a different Josh. Okay.
Different job.
Oh, yeah, I thought it was you. I'm sorry. Yeah, different.
Oh.
James Wisdom. I'm sorry, James Wisdom.
Okay.
James. Okay. Well, that's
I was
cool.
like, no, I don't think so.
You're like, wait, when did I get volunteered for this?
I believe I was sort of volunteered for something by Gabe at one point, but haven't done anything active with it yet.
Gotcha. What are you working on today?
Today I'm working on quickly thumbnailing some movie scenes so that well, it's called an iterative thumbnail process. So you take a movie scene and outline the basic shapes of it. So just a thumbnail, get the value pattern. And then the goal is to try to imagine it from different angles to see if any of those compositions would be any better.
Oh, okay. That's cool. So creating thumbnails for the perspective.
So creating thumbnails from really award-winning movies is sort of the point. So they have to be cinematography masterpieces.
Yeah, okay.
So
what are you pulling from today then?
Right now I'm looking at the evanerichards.com film library, and he has movie stills from a lot of different movies. Today it's from 300.
Oh, okay, cool.
I'll actually share that screen, so if anyone's interested, because I've never heard of that before.
Yeah. So if you go to the movie reference archives up top, there's an index. Yeah. And yeah.
Look at that, dude. Right
That is
in
very
12
interesting. I might
months.
click
Yeah,
one
pick one.
just to see.
Oh yeah.
But scroll down.
Sure.
There you go. So it just has a bunch of stills from different scenes in the movie.
Hell
Oh,
yeah.
that's
That's
killer, man.
seems like right up your alley, Ricardo.
Yeah, I mean, you can get a lot of like color value studies in there right away. I mean, I've talked with a lot of different artists about this before, and like how movies are underrated as far as like the sense of emotion or invoked emotion. You know what I mean? And some of the drawings and stuff like that we can create, or paintings. I'm heavily inspired by movie references for sure. You know, the director is putting so much time and effort into what it is they're trying to convey with that goes along with the dialogue. You know what I mean? Like you should be able to see a scene and be able to detect what it is that's happening between two people or the person in the environment without there being any words or anything, you know, color.
Yeah.
angle. It's important, man. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I love that stuff. That's great. EvanRichards.com. I have to remember that.
EvanERichards.com. Don't forget the E.
Richards.
'Cause I don't know what EvanRichards.com will take you to.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. Okay, so Evan E. Richards. Yeah, man, that's awesome. Thank you for the share.
Hey, no problem.
You know, you're talking about 300, dude. That is such a good movie, and it's such a good, like, it's almost verbatim from the graphic novel.
Yeah, they really made a masterpiece out of 300, the movie.
Yeah. All right, cool. I wrote it down on my little cardboard notepad here that I have from my prepackaged canvas. Yeah, that's cool, man. So let's see. What would you could you say you have a favorite movie?
A favorite movie?
Yeah, like what's one of the first ones that pop into your head?
As far as visuals go, it would have to be probably the Lord of the Rings trilogy, because there's an entire gamut of scenery in those movies.
You know, I can relate to that. I agree with that. Like, there's a lot of color study. There's a lot of color theory, a lot of typography that invokes emotions and things like that in it, man. And it's such a big thing to take on, like as far as the amount of characters and storyline and stuff like that goes into something as in depth as like those Tolkien books. You know what I mean? So they nailed it. Peter Jackson, right?
Yeah.
Peter Jackson nailed it. Yeah, I can see that. I can see that for sure. You know, like one of the movies and the directors that I like are the Benicio del Toro, or not Benicio del Toro, but Guillermo del Toro. I'm sorry, Guillermo del Toro. He did like all the Hellboys and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the ones with Ron Perlman. Those are really good. I love those, the use of color that he does in those too. Even the robots one that he just did recently too. That was a good one. Oh.
Ron Perlman was in the area here just like a year or two ago, shooting for something. I don't remember what it was.
Wonder if he was doing a movie. It's always funny. I have like this love-hate thing with Ron Perlman. You know what I mean? I really do. Like every time you see a movie, it's always Ron Perlman as whatever it is that he's doing. You know what I mean? But you know, it's crazy. But one of my favorite movies, the one that always pops in my head when people ask me what my favorite movie is, I always like envision Raising Arizona.
Huh.
You ever seen that?
I know that's one that I haven't seen.
Oh man, dude, Nicolas Cage at a very young age. You know what I mean? One of the first movies that he was in. It's a comedy. What is it? Coen Brothers do it.
Nice.
It's a good one. Do you get into Coen Brothers?
I'm vaguely familiar with some of the Coen Brothers work.
They do a lot of stuff. I think they do Big Lebowski and stuff like that, you know. That's pretty fun. Yeah. So what are you doing with that project? Are you using it for reference for tattooing? Or are you just using it for your own studies?
So this is part of the big solo artist curriculum thing. It's one of the challenges to do different movie scenes iterated. It's a challenge that I'm working through with a friend, and
cool.
Sort of keeping each other accountable. It's tough.
Yeah.
Like it's really tough. Like what are the angles that you could look at this at to really get an impact?
I know that, well, I know you guys both know this, but I remember Stefano telling me years ago, Stefano Alcantara, about how they used to just pause movies on a projector and trace them. If they would have had access to something like this years prior, would have been probably a lifesaver.
Oh yeah. It's funny. There's let me see, where's it at? This kid came in a while back to get a tattoo, and he kept telling me, he's like, I like the inspiration of 300. He goes, I don't want it to be a 300 tattoo, but I like the inspiration of 300. I was like, okay, cool, man. So, you know, we talked about the idea, like the shades and the values and stuff like that in it, because he wanted everything in a grayscale. Let me see if I can find the photo. I was just looking at it this morning, I think. But he kept telling me, he's like, I don't want it to be directly 300, but I want it to say remember us and all this stuff like that too. And I was like, okay, that's cool, we can do that. And well, I kept drawing up a bunch of different images for him, and he's like, no, 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 I don't like that. I was like, just drawing random, like, you know, soldiers and stuff like that from different angles, like what you're doing there, Josh. And he was never happy until I actually literally, like you said, Lauren, took a screenshot. Here it is. Took a screenshot of 300 and then, like, you know, used different angles and stuff like that and like put it all together for him. And he's like, yes, perfect. I was like, dude, that's directly from the movie. Like, okay, man, if that's what you want to do, you know what I mean? So I was just like, oh, dude, that's cool. But it was a good time, you know. That was a fun study and proportions and anatomy and everything like that too. And trying to get that turtle shell, those that armor back there in the background was pretty interesting. And then to be able to fit it onto his chest too, you know. So, but it was
Could have pulled
a
it from the
good
graphic
time.
novel. Been like, there you go. That's not from the movie.
Yeah, exactly, right? Exactly. That would have worked out pretty well. Yep. So
I had to look through the Coen Brothers filmography because it was bugging me. As far
what do you
as
think?
so, Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? One of my favorite movies of all time, mostly because I'm in Kentucky.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one, man. Oh, Brother Art, that was a really good one. I liked what they did with that too, because they went through with a like a filter. They filmed the entire movie, but then they went through with the filter and gave it that like sepia tone kind of effect.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that was one of my favorite parts about that movie. And it's so crazy because it's the subtlety of it. You know what I mean? Like that, those tones really set it into its time, that era. You know, that whole like, what is it, um, post oh crap, the crash, the market crash, the Great Depression kind of thing. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
it really worked out pretty well.
Well, their choice of George Clooney for that movie was perfect too, because he's also a Kentucky native.
It really?
Yeah, yeah.
That's awesome. I didn't know that.
Maysville, Kentucky. It's about
No
half
wonder.
an hour
No
north of
wonder
me.
he's such a dapper man. Get it? Because he's a dapper Dan man.
Yeah, yeah.
Wah wah wah.
No Country for Old Men was disturbing for me. Yeah, that's the best way I could put it. It was one of those movies where at the end I was like, what?
Yep. Yeah. Let's admit, Jason. Yeah, man. You know what? I've only seen that movie one time, and it was really brutal.
Did you have a similar response? Or you were
Yeah,
just
I
like,
walked.
huh?
Yeah, exactly. I walked out of the movie just going, I don't understand what exactly just happened. Like, what was that about? You know what I mean? But I know that it invoked like this feeling of like uncomfort, like discomfort. So I was like, yeah, I don't know how much of that I can watch anymore.
What is up, Jason?
Good morning, guys. I'm actually just doing the dishes so I can make breakfast. Yes, this is first breakfast, Ricardo. This is not second breakfast.
Wow, first breakfast is such a great warm up to second breakfast, dude.
It is. It very much is. And being part of the Hobbit folk, you know, I do like to constantly remind myself that first breakfast is just that, warm up.
Just a warm up. Just a warm up. I've been around some new people recently and they're like, dude, when do you stop eating? I was like, what do you mean? What kind
New
of question
people?
is that? Yeah, just newer
New
people, you know?
new people.
Yeah, newer people, you know, at the shop and stuff like that. People who haven't seen me, my eating habits, which consist of all day, every day.
I like new people.
So
New
how have you
people
been,
like
Jason?
Joshua.
Good morning.
Good morning, Joshua. What fun adventures do you have planned for today?
Well, I've been rocking the stay-at-home dad life with sick kids for the past week and a
Ooh,
half. So today, my adventures involve peace and quiet.
that sounds wonderful.
Glorious peace and quiet.
Yes, peace and quiet is something that we all need, whether we get it in the very super early morning, like Ricardo usually does. Correct. Or if we stay up super late, like I usually do. Peace and quiet is something that I believe is essential to our mind because it allows us. Hey, Lauren, are you still there?
Yep, I'm still here. I'm just in the background doing some work.
I think the video is pinned on Josh.
Oh, okay, sorry.
I mean, not that I don't mind staring at Joshua's, very handsome face, but
Yeah, we're good to go now.
You're like, it's
Thank
all lighting
you.
tricks, dude. It's all lighting tricks.
is that his secret? It's all in lighting.
It's all the lighting and all the angles and stuff, you know. It works out.
Thank you all for joining today.
Ah,
You working on anything fun today, Jason?
I got to finish a painting over the weekend, but other than that, not that I'm not going to be busy. I'm just nothing. Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I find the fun in just about anything, but today's not a very exciting day. However, on Saturday, I did get to work on that full female torso piece again.
Oh yeah, that's killer.
Got a lot of the black and gray blocked in on that, and so it's weird. I actually gave her to, I did some homework, and I gave her of some Prenup.
Okay.
And because she was not going to sit still.
Well, that's a tough
if
area.
she didn't use it. She wasn't. I found that out during the outline.
Oh man. What a whole lot of outline.
The outline took twice as long as it should have because I would do a little bit and then she would like, oh my God, and like sit up and all that stuff. And it's like, you need to stay down so I can keep the tattoo. So I was like, all right, we're going to try a different method with this. And this is not something I recommend. And it's not something I usually do for people. But if you're getting your entire frontal torso tattooed, all right, you can have a little bit of help, right? So I gave her a tube. I was like, I've had a client use this stuff before. Worked wonders for them. Hopefully it does the same for you. Otherwise, we're not going to get anywhere near as much done. Holy shit, what a difference.
Really? You noticed that much of a difference to it?
We worked for 8 hours. Well, not
What?
8 hours. 6 hours. Doing shading, and I was not being gentle. And I was using some of the biggest mags I had. I think I had everything from a straight 11 mag all the way up to a 35 mag.
Wow.
Set out. So I was scooting. I was covering some space. I was like moving. We got, I want to say a good, probably half of the black and gray shading done from like under boob down. Because it's her whole front torso from mid thigh to collarbone. So we were going to save the chest for another session, right? So we were just focusing on the torso area. So we did, at least half of the black and gray shading. on her entire stomach area, both thighs, and it was epic.
Wow.
And now she wants to come in again.
What's this stuff called?
So the Prenup that I did have her use was called TKTX. It's fairly cheap stuff. It's not like, you know, it's super expensive. Joshua's giving me the thumbs up, like, yes.
Yeah, that stuff is magical, and I think it might be slightly illegal in the United States. Like the maximum legal over-the-counter dosage for lidocaine is 6%, which is, you know, Bactine max. I'm pretty certain that TKTX is 37%.
Bactine max is only 5. Actually, I think it's 4 in some
I
places.
thought it was
Yeah.
like 5.5 or something, like
Oh,
6
okay.
might have been the peak.
Yeah, it's like right in the 5 to 6 range. I know regular Bactine is only 4.5. But yeah, TKTX works. You just can't hit the same spot again. So what I've noticed is, like, if you're working an area and you move on to another area and you go back to area A after working on area B, area A is just like on fire.
Wow.
But
It's
it
great,
lasts
though,
for
that
like,
first pass.
yeah,
You got to nail it that first time.
yeah. But you can nail it that first time because they can't feel nothing.
Wow,
Yeah, it was
it's
magic.
really genuinely that impacting, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I do not recommend using most Prenups. Number one, I don't believe in it. Number two, I find that a lot of the ones out there can just make your skin super weird.
like
So,
rubbery almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like you'll be
Yeah.
sitting down and you'll be stretching, and then you're like, okay, no, I need a tighter stretch. So you have to go back through and you have to like dig in with like your elbow and like push that skin way out and then get your hand in there to stretch it out, right? So like it literally turns your skin to rubber and it makes it an absolute nightmare to tattoo. This stuff, I did not notice a single change in the way that her skin elasticity, in her skin texture. And you know, we peeled the plastic up as we were moving along. It's not like I ripped the plastic off and then, you know, we just started working. We were doing it in increments. So I would fold up a piece of plastic and I would do a little bit more, and then I would move the plastic a little bit more, and we would do a little more, you know, as we went on. So even after 5 hours, I'm working, you know, right at the top apex of her sternum, right at her solar plexus, that little soft piece of cartilage right at the bottom of your sternum.
Yeah.
You know, the sweet spot, the spot that makes everyone go, ooh. Yeah, Josh knows. He's like, oh, I know that spot.
Oh,
Things
So,
that make you go.
in my experience, especially on women, like specifically on women, the entire sternum area is just like one of those kickers. I mean, like kickers. Oh, Yeah.
It was great. I
yeah.
absolutely
TKTX is
loved it.
awesome.
I loved it.
Wow, that's crazy.
You can order it straight from the manufacturer. It's only like $12 a tube, but they're small tubes. They're like really small tubes. So it might take 2 or 3 tubes to fill or to cover a very large area.
She didn't even use a whole tube.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Are you guys putting plastic on it
Yeah.
after
Oh,
it's
yeah.
applied, and then you're making them sit for a little while too? Or
I'm gonna go ahead and bring in Medusa as well.
hey, what up, Medusa?
But yeah, Jason, that sounds pretty incredible. I've been so hesitant on my the front of my torso for obviously pain reasons.
So
But man, I love your color work, Jason. It's so beautiful.
I appreciate
Yeah.
Agreed.
And you know, the comfort level, like either any of you guys, Ricardo, Jason, whoever, I feel so much more comfortable in that situation with one of you guys because I know you, rather than going in somewhere for crying to someone else or something like that.
I mean, I'm not exactly the nicest person when I do tattoos, but
That's okay.
yeah.
At least you
it's-
won't hold
there's
me
a
accountable
reason
for
why.
tears.
No, I'll hand you a few tissues and be like, here you go, suck it up.
Yep.
Kick it.
Yeah, what are you
Medusa.
doing? Are you crying? There is no crying in tattooing.
These are tears of joy.
Ah, okay, that's acceptable. Right, Medusa?
What? Yeah. Morning.
Morning.
What up, Medusa?
I have blackberries.
You have what?
Blackberries.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Fresh or
guys-
frozen?
Fresh.
Nice.
Fresh.
I can
Only
walk in the
fresh
hills
for Jason.
of the Appalachian Mountain Range and go and pick my own if I want to.
Must be freaking nice.
Yeah, Joshua knows.
Now, the thing is, you said it almost wrong, and I don't know if you're doing it to be correct for the rest of the world, but if you live anywhere near this particular mountain range, you know it's Atcha. Like, I'm gonna throw an apple at you.
Yeah.
It's
It's
the
not that
That's
apple
funny. I was
Atcha.
born
That
in
is
the
the
range in
technical
Virginia.
correct-
We've never called it that. That's interesting.
What?
I grew up in the Blue Ridge Mountains, in that range, and I've never heard that my whole life.
Down in Georgia?
No, Virginia.
Okay. I actually lived in Blue Ridge, Georgia for a little while.
Oh, okay. Very interesting.
That's a long story.
Now, Joshua, you're down in West Virginia, correct?
No, I'm in Kentucky.
Kentucky. That's
Mhm.
Country home. Or country roads take me home, right?
Country homes take me road.
Yeah, take me road. Yeah, there you go. A little too early for me still.
Oh, how did the painting present go over?
Oh yeah, it went great. She loved it.
Oh, I bet that was very, very sweet of you, and the painting looked amazing.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. It went over really well. They're like the girls were happy. She was happy about it too, so I was pretty stoked. Mission accomplished, you know.
Mm.
For those of you who
Hell
don't know,
yeah.
I painted a picture of my girlfriend's daughters and gave it to her for Mother's Day. But when they were really young, so they're like chilling on the bed and eating off their movie trays and stuff like that too. So it's pretty fun. I don't think I got a photo of it. Sorry.
Do you often forget to take photos of your work, or does it?
Yeah, I do. That, and I can't take a picture to save my life either, you know? So I'm just like, it's okay. It's there. As long as it's there, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
I still
I always-
struggle with like showing my stuff off too, to be honest with you. So there's that as well.
Yeah, I feel like you don't post, like, as far as Instagram goes, I don't see you post too often.
Yeah, no, I don't really mess with it too much, and it's still a struggle for me to kind of be like, here you go, guys, check it out.
I
But
hear
we'll
that.
get there. We're working on it.
My coworker is always lecturing me because I'll like be sending my clients out the door and just be like, oh yeah, thanks, have a good day, bye. And she's like, what'd you do? Did you take a picture? And I was like, oh, I forgot. And you know, and then my coworkers never see what I actually do because I didn't take a picture, I didn't show them. My client's already out the door by the time they notice.
Medusa, then you're going to be stuck with a client photo that probably sucks.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
In the
sometimes I'll email
wild,
them.
we'll say.
Yeah, it's not great that I don't get a chance to, that I always forget. I always remember, but it's always after like the tegaderm's on, and then it's already like got blood wrinkles and stuff all over it. Blood wrinkles. You know what I mean when it's like the tegaderm and seeping up.
All
Right.
the plasmas all collecting and everything like that. And
Yeah, it's not
like,
great
here's
for a
this- here's
photo
this
op.
Great photo of all the beautiful work that I've been doing lately.
Yeah.
It's like a
That's when
plastic
I
bottle
remember.
of Yeah, it's a plastic tube of like plasma.
Yeah, that's the point when I remember to take a photo, and then at that point it's too late.
Yeah, I feel you, dude. Believe
One
me.
thing you can do, Medusa, to help you remember to do that. And I used to have a sticky note up at my station in the studio I'm at to remind me to do it more often, is make yourself a list, right? You know, tell client about aftercare instructions, put Tegaderm on, you know, uh, break down the station or at least put needles in Sharp's container, take a picture, go to get paid, so make a whole process list out of it, and then start incorporating that as habit and as routine. And what you'll start to realize is that even the tattoos that you don't want to take a picture of, you end up taking a picture of them.
Yeah, making it a habit.
Integrated.
Yeah. Yeah, I need to be more organized as well with how I handle business. I'm a pretty chaotic person.
You mean your paper plate notes don't work out for you all the time?
Um, just so you know, those
That's
paper
okay.
plate notes,
Uh-huh.
I didn't ever lose those.
Good.
Because every
like
time I looked in my
Yes.
bag, I was like, what the hell is this paper plate for?
What the hell is this paper plate for?
No, Medusa, you did lose them because when you needed them, they weren't there and you couldn't find them.
No.
Oh man.
They weren't with me. I didn't lose them. They just weren't with me.
Oh.
They're at home in the kitchen.
I think I had left my bag at work or something like that. It was like I know where it is. It's just not with me. But yeah, no. Oh, another thing about pictures is how do you guys? Is there a way to like edit out glare without photoshopping your photos or something, whatever?
I let the guys answer, but I know one thing Medusa is chance favors a prepared mind. So if you're prepared in your photo and can eliminate things before they become an issue, if you're prepared, I think that would eliminate it a lot much more effectively than a Photoshop. I've seen different polarized light combinations, polarized lens, polarized light combinations, and the guys can definitely elaborate there. But that would be my 2 cents.
Oh. Yeah, I'm always catching glare. When I do remember to take a picture, it's usually ruined by a glare.
It's so evil, isn't it?
Every light in the universe makes an unwanted glare.
You know what?
Exactly what I
I'm
do.
terrible
I
at
use
it too,
polarizer.
and I've found that Jason was recommending the what is it? Oh, what is that filter called, Jason?
So there is a combination between getting a piece of polarized film
Polarized
and
film.
putting it over
That's the
top
one.
of like a lamp, and then you
Yes.
get like a little clip-on. It's a CPL filter
Yeah, you can
that you
find
can
them for
use
your
for the
iPhones.
lens on your phone. You adjust the
Yep.
lenses so that it cancels out a lot of the bouncing light, like a lot
Yeah.
of the indirect light, and then that will give you a great glare-free image. And you're not photoshopping anything. What you're doing is you're just rearranging that light
Yeah.
so that you can see that tattoo clear. You're not touching
It
anything
actually
up.
works
You're not
out
increasing the
really
contrast.
well, dude. Like, yeah, Jason, you nailed it. Like I had never heard of it before, and it's you're not going in and feeling like you're cheating whenever you're, balancing things out in Photoshop and stuff like that. Like that's the other reason I don't like to do it or post so many photos, because I don't want to edit them, and even on Instagram you have that Lux thing or whatever it is, you know what I mean? I hate running it through that thing too, because it's like, dude, that's a that's an editing filter. Like, come on, man, let's put the real deal up there. So the pictures that I have been posting lately, there's some really great light at the new shop and stuff like that, and I've been able to take them outside and stuff. Now it's getting nicer, and I've just been putting it straight up as is, you know what I mean? So and then of course all natural light, if you can get them outside and stuff like that, that's probably the best bet. But I've also been looking into some lights where you can put them in front of a black backdrop, like something non-reflective, something that soaks up a lot of the light, like something soft material or something like that. Like you can go to Hobby Lobby or some kind of fabric store and pick up, what is it? What is that? Velvet? You know, that crushed velvet kind of stuff, you know, and that works out pretty well. What is that? Velvet? Speaking of which, have you guys seen Coming to America? Have you seen the second one?
Oh, it's so fucking funny.
It's
There's a
so
second
fucking
one?
good, dude.
Oh my God, Medusa, get on that. It's on Amazon Prime.
Dude, Coming to America. It's fantastic, dude. You gotta
Wait,
watch
when
it.
did this happen?
I don't know, maybe
Last
6 to 8 months
year?
ago or so.
Maybe like
Okay, so
2
this
to
is a
8
new
years ago.
thing.
Yeah, it's so
Okay.
funny.
I thought that like, okay, so this is new. I thought you guys were talking about something that's been out for, 20 years or something. And I'm just
It's
like,
been
there was a
out.
sequel?
Yeah. It just came
Yeah,
out
it's
not
just
that
like
long
Bill
ago.
and Ted Face the Music, sequels that actually were badass and hilarious.
Yeah. Dude,
Bill
did
and
you like
Ted
the
have a
second one?
sequel
Oh my
too?
God, Medusa, you have to watch. It's so
Oh
funny.
my
It's
goodness.
so good. It's so
How
Their
did I
good.
kids,
not
their
You're gonna love
daughters
it.
are in it, so it just makes it not real life, but it just makes it amazing.
How did I not know this?
awesome. And then the way that they implement some of the new like makeup and stuff like that they're doing in Hollywood and everything like that, man, it's fantastic, dude. Just wait. You're gonna love it.
They both honored the existing kind of storylines as well, which I thought was cool. It kind of had, parallel things happening.
Yep.
All right. I
Yeah,
just wrote
I
down
guess-
on my notepad that I need to catch up on these new sequels.
Yeah, Coming to America and Bill and Ted for sure. Good call. Good call,
Okay.
Lauren.
Can't believe I didn't know about those.
You know, I'm so glad I'm not the only one that likes that movie. Like I've told other people about it, and they're like, yeah, dude, I watched it and I hated it. I'm like, what is wrong with you guys? You weren't real fans to begin with, apparently. Apparently y'all.
I
some
don't
Y'all
think
fans
Medusa's
posers.
gonna dislike it. I think you're gonna like it a lot, to be honest.
I'm no poser.
You ain't no
Before
poser,
speaking
man.
of movies, before Jason and Medusa came on today, we were showing Evan E. Richards a little bit. Have either of
Yep.
you heard of that reference platform? So Josh, you are the only one today that knew of it. I will do another screen share real quick in just a minute.
Yeah. Josh will have to walk us through again.
It's
mind.
just it's a collection of movie stills, so just frozen frames of the movie. Yeah, here we go.
So what we did is we went to evanerichards.com earlier and we chose any of a lot of movies. Let's just say House of Flying Daggers, made in 2004.
Oh,
That's a good movie.
one. That's a really good one.
So you see all of
Yeah,
these
boy.
references.
Oh,
Gorgeous.
God, I forgot how beautiful that movie was.
It's a great one.
Yep, and
Speaking
he
of
was doing
lighting.
a series of thumbnails that was very interesting before he came on. I showed a little bit of, but it was pretty cool. I've never heard of this website.
Nice. That is
Um,
cool.
There's another one called Film Grab. It's not as pretty, but there is an option in Film Grab to select a random movie. So it'll just take you to a random movie and you can sort of be forced to deal with some constraints if you're trying to do something like what I was doing.
Hey, Jason, guess what?
What?
I am
It is a
using,
watercolor, and that
a
is the
1/4
smallest
inch.
brush I think I have ever seen you use.
it's
I didn't
like
even
a
know you
1/4
own
inch.
brushes that small.
Yeah, I just went out and bought some. I challenged myself. I'm like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go out and buy some small little brushes and do some small little paintings. And here you go, buddy, in
Bravo.
honor of Jason.
Oh, my little boy's growing up.
And then of course I have, the bigger guy. And then that one's not
Next
that
thing you
big.
know, you're gonna be doing micro detail and like human eyes and stuff, and like getting tiny
Uh-huh.
little lines in there for the iris and like little veins and stuff like that.
Dude, that turned out
Like-
so good. Look at that. Man, you nailed it, bro.
Can't really get too much closer without
I-
blurring it.
I
But
did
I did
notice.
every line in an iris. That was a nightmare.
So was it faster the second time around?
Yes. Very
Because
much
I
so.
feel like it took you like a whole week for the last one, and then this one was just like a couple of days.
So this one I literally started when I realized how badly I had messed up the first one. And the first one did. It took me like I was working on that on and off for a week and a half. This one I banged out in like 4 or 5 days. But
Yeah.
yeah, you already know what colors are going where, so you don't have to guess.
Kind of
You already
resonates with something
remember-
David Vega once told me when he was talking about phantom drawing before his tattoos. He draws his tattoos first just to acclimate and familiarize himself with those. I don't know if that's do you practice that technique at all as well with your tattoos?
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah, you know, like I'll always go through and put some hatch marks or something like that where I want my light sources and everything like that, like the darker, the more recessed areas of images. And then a lot of times I'll go through, like if I'm going to do a color, I pick out a primary color that is going to be the strongest in the whole piece, and then I kind of like put that one tone throughout the entire area, and still try to see if I can maintain the structure and stuff like that with it too. I think that helps me out tremendously. I like to try to get kind of crazy with the colors sometimes, so that helps out quite a bit. But yeah,
So
I just
I
got
do my
tattooed yesterday.
paintings like I do tattoos. So I go through and I use a little bit of different method, and I figure out where I want my hard blacks to be first, and then I go through and I just by default block that in, right? Because I know that I want that to be the darkest areas in that part. Then I go through and I start building my color on top of that. Once I already have some of that basic value blocked in. And I do that a lot of times for stuff that I'm doing as a color study for a tattoo, just so that I can go through and basically practice doing the tattoo before I actually do it. It's just something I found that helps. But I always start out with black first, but maybe that's because of the medium I'm working in.
With acrylics and stuff like that, I can find that pretty useful. Like that's what I started with today, was all the darks. It's a good way to get the foundation down for me whenever I do it like that. With oils and stuff like that, I try to go like just, I don't know, just big swatches of color and then start building on top of that. But the cool part about that is that like with the oil process, you know, there's a lot of build up to it where you go fairly wet into the more what is the right way to say it? The unpainted or dispersed pigment, you know what I mean? So you go straight from the tube a little bit further in the process, whereas at first it's really, really wet on wet kind of process, you know? So yeah, that's the way that I would do it. Yeah.
Now, with that piece that you're working on, you went right in with just color first?
Yeah. Yep. I'm just going straight in with color. This one's acrylic on canvas board. You know what I mean? So I'm keeping it wet and it dries up pretty fast. You know what I mean? So it's pretty forgiving. I mean, the cool part about acrylics too is that you can just like lay stuff right on top of it. You know, I'm still trying to use somewhat of like an oil painting kind of process where I'll put down the base tone and then go in with the other colors to kind of help with the structure and stuff like that. But yeah, definitely just straight color. Now, if I want to, I can go in with some of the dispersing mediums that you would use with like watercolor and stuff like that, and kind of like use that to disperse the acrylic pigment, which at this time is just master's touch. You know what I mean? Just like these little cheap bottles of paint that you can find at like any box store. And then I'll go through and I'll kind of do like a glazing process with it too, where you can add some more contrast or some more like, you know, hued values and things like that, you know, or hued tones or whatever. Or even do like color washes over it too. Or, you know, some some structural stuff over it, like some more dark recessed areas, some blacks or some dark blues on top of some of those reds and stuff like that that I can see in there. Yeah. I like doing acrylics though. It's fun. It's pretty quick. You know what I mean? It's a good way to stay loose with the painting, especially like when you're trying to learn a process. You know, it actually helped me out quite a bit to do this with acrylics before I started doing a lot of oil painting too. Oil painting seems so foreign and so like unforgiving to me for a long time.
I still have never tried oil painting before. No, wait,
What?
no. There was that one time at Paradise. That was my only time doing an oil painting, the school
Did you take that
painting.
class?
Yeah,
Did you do it? Nice.
yeah. The painting never made it home. Well, I tried, but it didn't dry, and then it got ruined in the suitcase.
Oh man.
But yeah, that was my only time ever with oils. I forgot about that for a second.
Dude, you should get back in it. Did you throw it away or what'd you do with it?
With the yeah, it was all messed up by the time I got rid of that one, but I could try again.
Yeah, yeah. That was the first time you ever touched oil painting and you're painting with Christian Perez. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, and I remember texting one of my friends
Mhm.
at the time who was also an oil painter, telling him what I was doing and freaking out because I was like, oh man, he's standing right over me, like he's judging me. And I was really nervous because it really was my very first time. I didn't know what to do with it also because I missed the first part of the class.
Yeah.
So
I don't really know what to do with my hands here, but
I think I definitely was struggling with how it doesn't really dry very quickly, and I'm used to acrylics.
Yeah.
So I thought I could do layers, but it just kept blending, which is not bad, but not what I was trying to do.
Well, Medusa, you
right,
can
because you
do
thought you could
layers
put it
with
right
it.
on top of
You
it.
just have to
What's
wait
that,
until the
Jason?
previous layer dries.
Yeah, which is not necessarily great, and when you're trying to do it all in one sitting.
So if, yeah, I mean, but depending on the medium that you're using, like he uses a lot of that solvent-free gel medium for when he oil paints. He'll have a glaze that dries to the touch in 2 to 3 days. You know, so that allows him to work a lot faster through his layers in oil painting, but it still keeps them wet enough. If you really watch his paintings and look at his paintings and how well everything is blended in, it still keeps the paint wet enough that he can go in and really blend out those intricacies and then, you know, finish an area to completion, let that dry, then go through and do another glaze over top of that, let that dry. So he's literally building so many layers.
Do you guys, any of you read Imagine FX magazine? So
Every
issues
time they come
ago,
out with a new one.
yeah, 2 issues ago, 212, I want to say, they did a fantasy painting workshop at the end. And the way that artist approached even his oil paintings was to do acrylic glazes first, because you can knock an acrylic glaze out in half an hour, even on a super huge canvas. So he built up all of his base glazes and then values with acrylic, and then went in with oil like the next day. No 2 or 3 day drying time. It was just ready to roll.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a trick that I picked up in college. Was if you block in first with acrylics, you cut your time down into a third because you're already blocking in those base tones, right? So then all you're doing is going back through, adding your highlights, adding your shallows, and adding some subtleties. And that's very, very quickly and easily done.
Yeah. I thought that was really interesting though. Oh.
Yeah, you just have to make sure that you don't, if you've already started working in oil, you cannot go through and do that. To anyone out there that might be listening, do not put acrylic over oil. Do not do it. Do not do it. Do not ever, ever do it. You cannot
I'm just
put
gonna repeat myself
acrylic
here one more
over
time.
oil.
Just to let you
Okay.
guys know
What if I do though?
what Jason refers to as
Your
smart
painting will
tactics of
literally-
painting is to put acrylic on top of oil.
No, no, that is not what I said. Do not
I know,
Okay,
I know, I
okay,
know.
okay.
do that.
So
not
put
do
the. But okay, before I put on the acrylic though, a layer of oil is good to.
Yeah, just grab
I
a
hate
tube of
you.
titanium
I
white.
hate y'all.
It's
you
gonna
guys are
prep the
terrible.
canvas with a layer of oil before you paint with the acrylic. Got it.
Got it. Check. It's okay,
Noted.
Jason. What Jason said, everybody, just to recap, is it's a bad idea to do an oil painting and then put acrylic on top of it. You would be doing a very serious no. A very serious, Jason says, hell no.
Though I will say, if you like watching artwork disintegrate in front of your eyes, do that.
That sounds good. Sounds good.
Some people do just like to watch the world burn. So
Yeah.
I'm actually now I'm really curious about this and I really want to do it.
Sometimes you just want to destroy something beautiful, Jason.
Hmm.
Speaking of
Hmm.
movies, Fight Club, anybody? Yeah. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Today is a day, ladies and gentlemen.
It is? What?
Oh yeah, today is a day that we can make anything happen that we want to.
Hot diggity dog.
It's pretty wild, isn't it? Pretty wild. So now I'm going in with this big brush and just hammering out these tones.
I'm trying to figure out if I last night's exercise with Guy was like glass or chrome, right?
Yes.
And a lot of people were using their own reference images, or I remember something was wrong going on with reference images.
Yeah, he was saying that, I mean, he always says, they put the references up there and sometimes it makes it easier for us to use the references that they provide. That way, you can kind of refer to them and he can kind of like balance it out as far as like what it is that he could help you with. The source materials there in front of all of us to see, but you can always use your own stuff. I mean, I was using a bunch of like I used straight from the source. Like I was just kind of replicating what I saw, which was like mannequin heads and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, I thought I had just heard them say that somebody didn't have reference images this week or something. So they're going off of memory. But I was also working during the thing, so I could only pay attention to like parts of it.
Yeah, how'd that turn out?
The tattoo I was working on, it's a work in progress. We decided to take a break that ended up just being a good stopping point.
Good deal.
But yeah, I was going good so far. I think the client actually emailed me later on last night to say that he was really, really stoked with it so far, and he can't wait to finish it.
Radical.
That's always nice.
Radical, man. That is always nice. It always kind of makes you feel good. There was one time, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, there was one time I almost quit tattooing. This guy came in with this tattoo that I did on him, and I was so in love with it. It was like this skull with water coming out of the mouth and stuff like that too, dude. And we were doing it all black and gray. And he comes in, and the tattoo is like, it's super infected. There was something going on with it. And I was sitting there looking at his arm like, what did I do? Like, I started blaming myself immediately. I was like, what happened? What could I have done? So I'm going through the process of like when I set up, when I was tattooing him, did I touch anything? Was anybody around that kind of came up and like sneezed on him or something? You know what I mean? Anything. And I couldn't think
Yeah.
of anything. I was racking my brain, and the whole time I'm like, dude, I'm done tattooing. I'm never gonna tattoo ever again. Like, this guy's arm was bad. And I was like, I quit. And I started asking him, like, so what did you do after you left here, man? Like, this was such a good tattoo. Like, the process from beginning to end was fun. It was like there was no hiccups, nothing was going on. And he's like, well, I just went home and like, I took a shower and you know what I mean? I sat on my couch and started watching TV and stuff like that, dude. And I was like, okay. I mean, did you not, like, was anybody there with you or anything? He's like, I mean, my dog was hanging out. I was like, all right. And he goes, well, I was having a beer and watching a movie and my dog started licking my arm and stuff like that. And I was like, what? And he's like, well, yeah, I mean, like, their mouths, I mean, it's not that big of a deal, right? Like, I figured I already washed it off, but he can clean it more. And I was like, no, dude, no, my God, what
Oh,
are you doing? Yeah. And I was
oh
like, do you know what your
no.
dog does when you're not at home, man? There's some things that your dogs do that they enjoy. I won't even say it out loud. They like, it's so disgusting.
Uh,
They eat their own
Yeah.
poop.
So what's that, Jason?
They eat their own poop.
Yeah, exactly. Not only their own poop,
Also,
but other dogs' poop too.
oh no, they eat the cat's poop.
They eat the
Like,
cat poop.
yeah, they just love poop, man.
Yeah, they just love poop. It's like poop. The Sir poops a lot. You know what I mean? Like, that should be the dogs of some. That should be the names of some dogs. Like, oh, your Sir poops a lot, or your Mrs. poops a lot. Yeah, dude,
Like,
and it freaked me out. It tripped me out so bad, man. I don't even know why that came up, but I just thought about it. So there you
yeah,
go.
I had a case recently, a few weeks ago actually, when a client came back, just about maybe four days after I tattooed her, and I'm still, I'm still in the beginning of my career and everything. So every time a client comes back, I love to see the healing, how it healed or how it's healing, and check it out during the process. And I was really excited to see her again until obviously I saw what is going on. She had no idea that there was something wrong with her tattoo. She just thought everything was normal and fine, but it was swollen and puffy and very, very red and very weird. And I was really, really upset with myself, blaming myself because it's like, obviously, I'm there at the beginning of my career. It's my first time seeing a client with this. I did something wrong. So I asked her if it's okay if my coworkers can take a look at it, that are more experienced, and they come over and look, and everybody's just like, I can't really tell, like, because they remembered the tattoo and they remember seeing it, and it seemed fine when she walked out the door. And then we asked about the aftercare process. Apparently, she decided to disregard everything I told her, disregard the instructions and everything, and that because she's going to school to be a nurse, she knows best. So
Oh my
she, yeah, she had been slathering it in Neosporin and wrapping it up tightly with saran wrap every
100
night
days.
before she went to bed. And yeah, and just sleeping with
That's
it like
terrible.
that.
Like, if she's a nurse, the first thing she should know is how that actually is a breeding ground for bacteria. You know what I mean? It's like, it
I
actually
think she's
helps
going to
grow
school to be a
bacteria.
nurse.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's incredible.
I think
It's incredible. It's
important
like
to
you're
note
doing the
here-
exact opposite of what you're trying to accomplish. You
Yeah.
nerd.
I think it's important to note here that, and to remember that everything that we're using nowadays is disposable, right? You know, and those things that we are using, like our surface, our bottles, whatever, those all get wiped down after the fact. So the chances that we're actually touching something, unless we're just not being smart about it, that
Yeah.
has bacteria on it to infect that tattoo, are the potential there is really, really small.
Well,
You
if you're
know,
doing
so-
everything right, it's very, very low chance, low risk.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But once that person leaves the studio, that then becomes their responsibility. Okay.
Wait,
90%
you
of
mean-
all infected tattoos come from poor aftercare. So do not let that negatively impact, you know, your own perception of what you're doing as a professional. You can't watch them every second of every day and say, no, 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 don't do that. Here's why. That then becomes their responsibility once they leave the studio. You've done your
You
due
mean-
diligence. You've provided them with aftercare. You've given them instructions. You've made sure everything that you're using is clean and bacteria free, and you know all types of other stuff. So once they leave, that's on them.
Yeah, no, I think that one particularly unnerved me because before I found out that it was part of what she was doing for aftercare, I think it was like a good like 20 minutes of me like racking my mind, asking my coworkers what they thought about like what I could have
Yep.
done wrong, because she looked perfect when she walked out the door like the
Yeah.
first time, and just a few days later it was a mess. And yeah, definitely it like took huge hit to my self-esteem there for a second until I found out that it was improper aftercare. But like I thought that it was common knowledge not to put Neosporin on, and I know that our aftercare directions say don't put Neosporin on it, but I guess that's still something that a lot of people think is kosher.
It's hard. It's hard to, and then because like the other part of it with aftercare stuff is that the client sometimes, depending on their mood or their temperament or like what kind of high they're on from getting tattooed, you know what I mean? Like everything you're saying is just going straight over their head. You know what I mean? Like, and they'll ask you the same question 3 or 4 times at the end of the tattoo process. So it's important to have some kind of aftercare protocol, whatever that is, that it may be state mandated or, you know, the shop and stuff like that. But yeah, dude, I feel you, Medusa. Like, you know exactly the pain that I'm talking about then, because man, I was literally ready to quit tattooing. I thought I'd done something so bad to this person that I was just like, dude, I can't do this to anybody else. Like, oh my God. How am I supposed to do it myself now?
Just like, how could I do this?
Yep.
Oh man.
I was
Yeah,
ready to call
it's
it.
yeah,
Right.
that feeling sucks. It's like it's almost a relief to find out that it's like their bad aftercare, but it still sucks.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. I also
let me
have
know.
been real. Oh, sorry.
No,
I was
go
gonna
ahead.
say I gotta get running, guys. It's about that time for me. I gotta head into the studio and hang out my 2 new paintings. So
Yeah, me too.
thank you very much for having me on. I really appreciate it. I always love jumping in here, hearing all
Thank
of
you,
our
Jason.
discussions. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us,
yeah.
brother.
Hope everyone has a great day today. Kick ass, take names. You know the drill. Keep those
Hell
hands moving.
yeah. Hell yeah.
Have a good
Right
one.
on.
Thank you very much. And yeah, take care, guys.
Peace.
Bye.
So let's have everybody kind of sign off because I think I'm gonna be going off too. We'll start down the list. Josh, you wanna let us know a little bit about you? How to get a hold of you?
Well, other than the intro, I mean, yeah,
Cool.
I'm about to head to the studio myself. So everyone have a great one. You can find me at affinityart.co. And yeah, take it easy.
Good, man. Good to see you, dude. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Josh.
Yeah. Medusa,
Oh,
holler.
oh yeah. Hi, I'm Medusa. You can catch me on Instagram at Medusa Slays with 3 S's at the end, or medusaslays.com.
Killer. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having
I'll
me.
show you guys a little bit of this painting real quick. There's some stuff I need to do to fix it up a little bit. Some proportions are just a little bit off, but this is where we got so far with the acrylic painting today. It's pretty fun. You can see that there's some watercolor stuff going on in the background, but that's because I actually used the water to disperse the pigment just to get the undertones ready to go. But we'll keep playing around with it. I love the difference in color blends right now. I think I'm going to incorporate it all the way through the background even, and just make it a fun painting, just a color study. My name is Ricardo Sturdivant. I always look forward to Tuesday mornings with you guys. We didn't get into too many feels today. We did a little bit with that whole thing about broaching the pictures and posting for ourselves and stuff like that. And it's something that I still struggle with, and I'm working on it. And I think it does lend to what Lauren said a little bit ago about being prepared. It's another thing that I don't quite put as much attention and investment of energy into. I get caught up in just going sometimes and focusing on other things. And it's something that I need to slow down and do, I think, and it'll help out quite a bit. But thank you for the information, Lauren. Thank you for the advice. Everybody, thank you for everything today. And I hope you guys make the best of your day today. Peace out, everybody.